Mark Kimmitt, who joins us live from Washington, D.C., the former Assistant Secretary of State for Political Military Affairs. Thank you very much, Mark, for speaking to us. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu's popularity, as I just pointed out there, has dropped since the start of the war. That's also according to most opinion polls. Can he pull this back, or is he too far gone now?
Well, he's still in office, and he'll stay in office until his parliamentary majority throws him out of the office. I think it's very, very typical in unpopular wars that leaders do not stay much after the war is ended. Less than a year after the victory of World War II, Winston Churchill was out. So this is very, very typical of long wars, contentious wars. So I think whether it's in the next month or it's in the next year, I would not expect Benjamin Netanyahu to be in office. But that should not be seen as an indicator. He still does maintain a significant support of a large population inside of Israel who may not be demonstrating, but are very much behind what he is doing in this war.
And Mark, what do you make of his rival Benny Gantz' so-called unauthorized visit to the US, which he's still on?
Well, I think Benny's welcome here anytime he wants to come, whether it's a private citizen or as a government official. He's very well regarded in Washington, D.C. as somebody who's quite reasonable. He spent years here as a defense attaché where he and I got to know each other well. But it is odd that this would be done very much as a poking his thumb in the eye of Prime Minister Netanyahu, not because he doesn't do that regularly in Israel, but the fact that the Biden administration invited him over was very much a breach of protocol that I haven't seen since in my lifetime. Why they did this, the Biden administration, I think it shows that their diplomacy is not working sufficiently enough, that they've got to go to these levels of stunts to try to influence what's happening on the ground in Gaza.
Now, we know that the US wants to see progress on the creation of a Palestinian state with a revamped Palestinian leadership running Gaza, also with an eye toward eventual statehood. Would a Benny Gantz government, in your opinion, be more supportive of this?
Well, again, I think it's often forgotten that in these democracies that the decisions are not made necessarily by one person. They are in times of war, even with a war cabinet. But on an issue, an existential issue to the people of Israel on the question of a two-state solution, I'm not sure that it's going to matter whoever the leader is, unless he's extremely far left or far right. And in the case of Benny Gantz, who's center right, I think there will probably be a desire for him to push in that direction. But let's be very clear, he will not refer to that area as the West Bank. He will always refer to it as Judea and Samaria. So he still has some long lingering beliefs that that would mitigate and militate against a two-state solution.
And we've heard, Mark, in the last hour or so that truce talks have concluded, those truce talks taking place in Cairo with apparently no breakthrough. What do you make of Israel's refusal to attend the latest talks in Cairo?
Well, again, I think proximity talks are usually just as effective as direct talks. And I would not necessarily link the refusal of Israel to attend the meetings in person as a sign of their unwillingness to negotiate. I expected that these talks would fall apart, whether they were proximity talks or direct talks, one-sided direct talks or one-sided proximity talks, quite simply because the two sides are so far apart. Hamas may be celebrating the fact that they think they're on the verge of a diplomatic victory, but the terms that they are offering to Israel, no prime minister on the right or left would be taking. So they still have some work to do at the negotiating table.
Mark, thank you very much for your time. Mark Kimmitt joining us live there from Washington, D.C.